Battered but proud people of the Empire State. From the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Welcome, everyone, to Radio Free New York. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for the day, joined by Sean Phelan, our Agent of Chaos. I forgot to put Agent of Chaos on your new graphic there, Sean. But Sean Phelan, Agent of Chaos, who is actually in the WYSL studio today.
I am in studio.
Yes. I'm not. I'm still hunkering down at home right now, which is fine because it's very convenient for me. As much as I love being in a WYSL studio, it's great. But Sean is having some computer issues, so he went there, and we're gonna do our Friday show. It's gonna rock.
Yeah,
it is
man,
Fake News Friday.
I built a great machine. I built a great computer for gaming and everything, and got myself a nice new monitor for it, and hooked that all up yesterday. And I was, loving life. Everything was good. And then, like 11:30 last night, the computer, the desktop, just kind of like fell over and like just on a 45-degree angle, hit the desk, and
Oof.
That was it.
Man. Sorry, man. You have the roughest time with this type of stuff. It's terrible.
Oh, my whole life is one step forward, two steps back.
Hey. You fixed your truck this week, too, right? You fixed your AC for your truck? Oh, I know.
I still need to ride home. It's a long way home.
Yeah, right. Sorry. I don't want to give you bad luck there.
But I did get the air conditioning. I did the whole air conditioning system. I replaced everything.
Amazing.
Felt like a human being for a few moments there.
It's your truck is incredible for, I'm sure, having basically, except for the outside frame, like no existing parts.
It's a rat rod basically. It looks terrible on the outside, but everything's like all high performance, all hooked up on the inside.
Yeah, right. No, it's amazing. But all right, yeah. So we're in now Phase 3 Friday.
Yay.
Phase 3 Friday. Governor Cuomo decided to not string us along this time, which is nice. He told everyone yesterday His Majesty was nice enough to tell us a full day ahead of time who would get included, what would get included, all of that stuff. So we at least have a little bit of an idea of what we're able to do, including going out and checking out restaurants today.
Oh, restaurants, man!
Yeah, you're able to go inside.
Yesterday, when I heard that we were going to Phase 3, the first thing I did was book my Uber for tonight. Man, I'm going out and putting one on, dude.
There you go. Do your thing. Nail salons are also open, so you can get your nails done now, Sean. Good job.
Yes, my toes especially.
Your toes, yeah. No, get them all done, man. That's now an option. Yeah. So a handful of things are open. In fact, I'm going back into actual work next week, a few days a week, which means more driving for me. I'm not totally sure how I feel about it, but I will be at an actual place of work again instead of hanging out in this room. I feel like I haven't left this place in 3 months, but that's all right. It's gonna be exciting. No, my dog doesn't like it. Oh. He doesn't. He's like, "Why are you bothering me? Like, this is my nap time. Like, you're sitting in my room. You have messed up my bed, and you're just bothering me." So he doesn't hang out near me anymore. He's pretty frustrated. The cat loves it, but she usually doesn't hang out with me. She hangs out with my wife. So she's in the other room that the cat is not hanging out with me. The dog doesn't want to hang out with me, so I'm just hanging out here by myself. It's all right though. But Phase 3, things are reopening. It's looking good. Feeling optimistic. I mean, there's still really a virus that has killed 111,000 people out there, so keep that in mind. Don't be reckless. Maybe don't kiss every person you see on the mouth. That's for a number of reasons. You don't want to do that, but maybe still be a little bit cautious because it's still a thing that's getting people sick. But as we kind of talked about yesterday, it seems like large gatherings haven't yet resulted in a spike in coronavirus cases in Monroe County or many other places either. So maybe things are. I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic. I'm hoping that we don't get some second wave that come in and that hurts a lot of people. We want to avoid that.
They're gonna tell you there's a second wave. Oh, look at this. Blah 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 blah. You be scared. Be afraid. The government's gonna come save you. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the lesson I see from this, right? Like, as we see, like, okay, most of these rallies, most people wearing a mask. They're doing their thing. They're trying to stay apart. Okay, so if you do all that stuff, you take some like just little bits of caution, then it's probably not likely to spread. And maybe it's also being outside, being outdoors with the wind and the sunshine and all that stuff. So maybe, if we're all cautious, like, be careful, and we're not going to get a huge increase in coronavirus cases as long as people take just a tiny bit of caution and wash their hands and whatnot. Just, that's what I'm hoping. Again, Sean and I are not actual medical experts in any sense of the word, but I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm hoping that by September, October, I can go to a Bills game. I'll probably have to wear a mask or something, but I can go to a Bills game and then watch the Bills win the AFC East.
Yeah, so. I know. I can't wait till professional football starts.
Well, where'd Stephon Diggs go, Sean?
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
He's a Buffalo Bill now.
He's a Buffalo Bill.
Yeah.
Him and Josh Allen. They're gonna kick some butt this season. I'm excited.
Having things is a definite advantage. It was definitely a good pickup for the Bills.
Yeah, for sure. I know you're trying not to be too salty about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of disappointed the way things went down. Adam Thielen and. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is this what I was
saying? I know. Saying football. I know. You and I end up going on football tangents again. We will get away from that. Yeah. But just my hope is that large sporting events can start to be possible as long as people are again being cautious. You wash your hands, maybe cover your face, so you're not when you sneeze, you're not like sneezing on 10 people or something. Cover your mouth for goodness sakes.
I'm wondering if they're gonna. I wonder if they're gonna turn around and have the players wearing masks.
Oh yeah, no, that's a fair point. I think they might have people tested before every game. They have like some of the rapid tests now, so they might do that.
I'm just seeing like tennis players running around with the stupid mask on in my head.
Yeah, I mean like tennis players. You're far enough, and I talked about that. It was the stupidest thing when Governor Cuomo was like, "Oh, you're able to play tennis now." Like, bro, I was already playing tennis. Like you are like 20 feet apart. If you're playing tennis right, it was perfectly safe. Also related to that too, but the city announced today, city of Rochester where I live, they announced that the playgrounds are now open, which I find funny because I live next to a park. Like from my office window, I can see like no one stopped going to the playground at all. Like it never slowed down. As soon as the weather warmed up, like there was some caution tape around the playground that disappeared within like a couple days. The basketball courts are all locked up. There's kids playing on the basketball courts, for the last several weeks. I don't know how they got in. Probably climbed the fence or something. I was like, man, I'm too old for this. I can't climb the fence anymore. I wanted to go climb the fence to play tennis or shoot some hoops or whatever. Can't do that. But apparently it's all opening up. People are good. I hope you be careful. I'm not, because again, there really was a big virus out there. It's hard to get a grasp on everything that's going on. So be careful. Wash your hands. Probably good advice on any day to wash your hands fully. Don't just like rinse it off for 3 seconds. Do the full 20 seconds thing. Get all in there. Get all the nooks and crannies and whatnot so you don't get sick. It's just smart advice, generally.
Well, I hope that people at least pick up some of the habits, that we've kind of instilled here during the quarantine. Washing your hands, being a little cleaner of a human being. I think that wouldn't hurt anybody anywhere.
No, yeah, I mean it's definitely something out there. Not that I was ever bad about washing my hands, but I was that like 5 second just kind of smash some soap onto there and rub it for 2 seconds. Get some nice ASMR in my mic here, rubbing my hands.
Sound effects. You come with your own sound effects.
Sure.
You still got that little handheld thing that we had at the other station?
No, I don't. The sound effects, with the cheers and the boos and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, just our sound effects. There's just like set that close to the microphone and run it. That was someone I need to get one of those because I got one for my phone, but it plays ads randomly.
No, not
so
that.
like I think I'm gonna get applause and I actually get like an ad for like Candy Crush type of game.
Oh no.
No, so I don't want that. I'm gonna be putting that out over the
You
radio.
gotta have that high performance radio style here.
Yes. No, we are running professional radio here.
We're off the other station. Now we're here.
Yeah. So, I think we're going to head to a break in a second. But when we come back, we'll talk about some of the culture war issues coming up because those are popping up again because, I don't know, people need a distraction or something. So we'll talk about that when we get back here on Radio Free New York. Thanks for joining us.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
I'm Las from Action Towing and Service. We are the biggest towing company in New York State, but we do a lot more than just towing. We will tow just about anything, but we will also repair just about anything as well. We offer a courtesy shuttle and pickup. We offer a drop box service. We have all these amenities that we've put in place to make sure that every one of our customers can receive the best service possible. Please give us an opportunity to win your business. Come down and visit us at 275 Marketplace Drive, right off of Jefferson Road.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today, joined by Sean Phelan, the Agent of Chaos. Thank you for listening. We're live here on WYSL this Friday, 12 to 1. That's when we're live. But we're also being rebroadcast on WACK up in Newark and WANY, the Patriot, down in the southern tier. Thank you guys for carrying Radio Free New York, and thank you listeners for listening to Radio Free New York. Appreciate it. And of course, our shout out to our friends on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, all those folks. You guys are wonderful. We're getting a comment from Steven that he loves your voice, Sean. That you sound nice and smooth and silky.
Yeah,
Perfect.
he's obviously a new listener.
I feel soothed and smarter already, Steven says.
And
You get that high quality mic now.
yeah, it's definitely the studio mic. It's nothing to do with me, I assure you.
Yes. By the way, that nice studio mic's doing the work for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's very soothing. Like our listeners are like, yeah, Sean, smooth as heck here. I'm sure that's what they're thinking. But in the title of the show, for those of you listening and watching online, I did promise some culture war content because my goodness, the culture wars. Well, they've never really gone away, but they're back. So you know, there've been some interesting developments in terms of how people are trying to show their support for Black Lives Matter or police reform and things like that. And so you've probably gotten dozens of emails from companies and what they're trying to say and what they're trying to do and say they support Black Lives Matter. You've seen that in across the NFL and well, not just the NFL, but a lot of professional sports players across various sports have signed a document supporting legislation supported by or sponsored by Libertarian Justice Unmasked. It's all in support of qualified immunity, which we've talked about on the show before, so that's an interesting thing. And then you got the stuff, speaking of the world of sports, is NASCAR has now banned Confederate flags at the races. And that's one of the things that they've done to support, which is interesting. You know, NASCAR it's not exclusively a Southern phenomenon, but it's definitely a thing. Sean, you got any thoughts on that before I dive into my thing?
You asked for it.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
All right, easy, man. We're on the radio.
Yeah, I know. This goes back to exactly what I was saying a few weeks ago. We do not have a race problem as much as we used to anymore. It's very, very small compared to what it used to be. What we now have is a cultural problem.
Yeah.
People are not understanding each other's cultures in this country. And I don't know why. You'd think the internet would bring us all closer and make us understand each other better. No, it's actually doing the opposite. It's dividing each other. And it's very weird how this is happening because I've lived down south and it was a major culture shock for me. And it was unpleasant as far as I was concerned. And I couldn't wait to get out of there because I did not fit in there. And, you know, I understand the point of their rebel flag. You know, it's a, Southern pride thing. But to other people, it represents a very, very ugly side of the South. That's history. But, I look at it this way. I don't see, anybody waving a British flag around, and... this was another country. They tried to, separate 150 years ago, 150 now, and they did it, unsuccessfully. But, to continue waving the flag around, even at this point, it's kind of like, you might want to rethink that because it's sending an awful message to some people.
Yeah. So some interesting things to say there. I will say, well, let me give you my thoughts on the treason flag. I grew up in southern Georgia. I no longer have a southern accent. I kind of lost that as I went into high school, but I used to have a very thick southern accent. I do have parents who are from this area.
It's funny how we both have lost our accents, 'cause I'm from
yeah,
Long
I mean, well, you
Island.
still
How
got
doing?
you got the Long Island accent.
Hey,
It's not,
you're talking to me now, and you're talking to me all wrong over here.
Yeah, but used to have a thick southern accent. Spent the first 12 years of my life in Georgia. I get that there's an aspect of putting rebel flags on things that is not, in the minds of the people who are doing it, connected to any racial politics. In the minds of a lot of people down south, I'm sympathetic to the idea, and I used to agree more with the idea, like, oh, this is just a Southern pride thing, right? Like, because again, that's a way of just saying, like, yeah, I'm from the South, and I love being from the South, and South's awesome, so they fly the stars and bars, the Confederate battle flag, whatever, right? So that is a thing. I approach people from the South who feel that way a little bit differently. If you were born and raised in this region in New York and you're flying the stars and bars, it's a lot harder for you to claim Southern pride if you ain't from the South.
Yeah.
I'm less chill about that. Again, I say this as someone who spent some of the formative years of my life in the South, growing up in the South, on a military base. So it was an interesting mix there. But yeah, no, if you're from this area originally, you're not from the South in any way, and you're flying a Confederate flag. People don't think it's about Southern pride at all. It's not about heritage. People just think you're racist. That's all it is. Like, so that's my thought on that. And again, the Confederacy, the entire point of that country was to, commit treason against the United States, right, and build a new country based explicitly on slavery. Well, it's states' rights to own slaves. That's their whole deal.
I'm going to take a slightly different angle on this. Okay. The way that this cultural aspect is going, see, what's happening is people are being taught to be offended.
Yeah.
And that's not cool because they're not really teaching them why they're being offended. I had a situation, before where my students, they got upset about a blackface situation. And they think, that, at least they thought, and we're taught that any person that's white that puts any kind of brown makeup on their face, that's offensive, that's blackface. And it's not. It's absolutely not. You have to do the whole mocking, you have to do the behavioral, you have to do the belittling of behaviors and mannerisms. That's the blackface. That's the whole thing,
Sean.
And it is. That's the truth.
Sean, I don't think that anyone would consider you a good arbiter of whether or not blackface should be offensive. So let's avoid going down that road.
No. I'm going to go down there for a moment because I want to say this.
Not,
I want to say
Sean.
this. I just want to say this.
Let's finish up the discussion on the topic.
There were years ago that this movie White Chicks came out, and it had the Damon brothers doing whiteface and mocking out white women, young white women.
Yeah.
Not a peep, not a single protest, not nothing, because we didn't take it as offensive, because we're not taught to take it as offensive. But technically, we had every right to be offended about it, but we chose not to be because we didn't have the history of being belittled behind it.
Sure.
So that's why it flew. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
Now let's get off the topic.
All right. Yeah. I'm just gonna drop it, right? So, but
send all complaints to.
Yeah. That's my worry, buddy. So anyway, on this issue, and again, it's NASCAR's a private organization. They can do what they want. They want to show that they're being inclusive, and a lot of the people who are flying the Confederate flags, again, this is an understandable symbol of like actual built-in government white supremacy. Like that's like what the Confederacy actually stood for. So I get why people are like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have this here if you have a Confederate battle flag. A lot of people look at that and they're like, well, that's the type of person that maybe they're fine, but maybe they're legit. If you're an African American, you see someone flying that flag, you're like, maybe they're fine, maybe it's just about Southern pride to them, or maybe like at someone who's actually dangerous.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the issue. So a lot of people, I imagine in NASCAR would have some trouble, getting African American fans to show up to that thing, even though, guys, I'm sorry, I'm not that interested in NASCAR. I don't care about it. I don't find it that interesting.
Drive fast, turn left. I don't.
But I've seen so many comments on like local news stories and this, and people getting upset and like, all right, like it's not a free speech issue because it's a private organization. They can do what they want, and if they think that, hey, this is a thing we don't really want here, any more than like not allowing a Nazi flag there, I could get why NASCAR's like, hey, please don't show up to our races and have swastika flags out, right? So nope, that makes our other guests feel unwelcome. They can't stop you from doing it outside, but inside the property they can do kind of what they want.
Yeah, it'd be like, to me, this whole rebel flag being flown at NASCAR would be like somebody pulling out a Nazi flag at a German Oktoberfest.
I mean, maybe. I don't know if it's quite the equivalent, but,
Yeah.
you know, like, again,
It's on the same lines.
Again, I come at this from the perspective of I'm from the South. I kind of get that. I don't think that the people down South. I think you need to find a better symbol of Southern pride than that. But I get it. I'm willing to talk to you about it. But if you're up here, maybe reconsider. Maybe reconsider that treason flag for all the extra baggage that it carries. But thanks again for joining us here on Radio Free New York. We are going to be back in just a few minutes with some more stuff. Maybe some more virtue signaling stuff. Talk to you soon.
Now, more than twice the power. More powerful FM 92.1, FM 95.5 West, and 1040 AM WYSL Avon Rochester.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center. For today, we're looking at a mixture of sunshine, some fair weather clouds, just a slight chance of a shower, but mainly dry, cool, and breezy. Temps in the 60s and low 70s. A bit on the chilly side tonight. We'll drop into the 40s and low 50s. Saturday looks nice and sunny, but temperatures only in the low to mid 60s. I'm Rich Cadilia, WYSL.
H.L. Mencken wrote, "The aim of public education is not to spread enlightenment. It's to reduce as many individuals as possible to the same safe level, to breed and train a standardized citizenry, and to put down dissent and originality." Let that sink in.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
WYSL. Right now, our community needs to recover from many types of trauma because of COVID-19, unemployment, cultural tension, and closed businesses. We need to be reminded of the way forward. Join us for Villa of Hope's Portraits of Hope Gala on June 13th at 7 p.m. You'll witness inspirational stories of our neighbors right here in our community who have worked to rebuild relationships, recover their potential, and renew hope for the future. You'll see from mental health treatment to substance use treatment, from workforce development to education, from youth to adults, how Villa of Hope is there to help you find and reach your potential throughout your life. Tune in to Channel 8 on Saturday, June 13th at 7 p.m. to hear about these truly amazing journeys and how we can start to find our way to recovery for ourselves and for our community. Visit villaofhope.org for more information. That's villaofhope.org.
Hi, it's Fran and Jim.
Colby's Ice Cream Bakery and Barbecue Restaurant is open.
So get out of the house, jump in the car, and take a drive down I-390 to exit 11.
And pick up our new grab-and-go lunch and dinner meals for just $5.99 each.
Yep, Colby's Famous Catering for easy home meals.
Just heat and eat over 12 different entrees.
See all the yummy meals at colbysicecream.com.
Order online for curbside pickup.
Or just call our friendly staff.
Better yet, stop in and take home Rochester's best ice cream and custard.
Google Colby's Ice Cream today or call 585-533-3525.
Yes, it's Turnbull tune-up time for your air conditioning system. Whether you have an attic system, a ductless wall mount system, or even a conventional central air conditioning unit attached to your furnace, call Turnbull today to schedule your appointment to save energy and money. If you need a new system, Turnbull can provide a free estimate to meet your comfort needs and budget. Call Turnbull today, 343-2005.
You'll be comfortable with the best. Turnbull Heating and Air.
In Avon and Livingston County, call 226-6180.
Flower City Collision in Henrietta is a local business, veteran-owned, family-operated, locally grown. Flower City Collision is a certified Carco facility specializing in insurance repair. Get it done right. Visit flowercitycollision.com.
You're listening to Radio Free New York. You're listening to...
All right. Welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today, joined by Sean Phelan, Agent of Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
And we're talking about some culture war issues going on. The other thing going on is you got all these statues that are coming tumbling down. It's Confederate statues in some cases, statues of Christopher Columbus in some cases. It's been an ongoing thing. And, I'm saying like the two sides of this are, well, I mean, there's multiple sides. There's always multiple sides of these things, so we shouldn't simplify it by saying two sides. But the loudest, noisiest sides of these things, because everyone wants to pick two sides, is we need to tear down these monuments to racism or we need to preserve history. Sean, is that a bad dynamic?
It's kind of a tough call, to be honest with you. Because I am big, on keeping history, because if we don't, keep history in our minds, then we're damned to repeat them, these things. And yet there are now statues that are up that represent things that are, bygones, and that, aren't really appropriate or acceptable anymore. But, yeah, it's a tough call. I got to be honest with you. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this one.
Yeah, I look at some of these things, right, and I'm like, all right, we know without having a statue of this person in our town, like we know who Nathan Bedford Forrest is. Nathan Bedford Forrest is one of the founders of the Ku Klux Klan. There is a statue of him that is just horrifying in the center of Nashville. And if you don't believe me, go Google that. Go Google his statue. It is like hilarious. Like it's so bad it's funny. It's just monster face, just terrible. But we don't have a statue of that guy in Rochester, New York. Nor did I have one in Riscony, New York, where we grew up. But I know who that is. I don't need a statue, creating a monument to the founder of the Klan to be able to remember who that dude is and what he did. Nor do I really particularly want that subsidized by my town or state government, which is what the case is in some of these areas. And you have schools named after this guy, and you have schools named after Confederate generals. We have military bases named after Confederate generals, which is funny. Not funny. It's like strange because these are, military leaders who committed treason against the United States and now have military bases named after them. So that's strikes me as a bit odd. President Trump has come out against changing those names, but you have all these kind of monuments, and like to me, it's like I don't know if like it makes sense to tear down everything, but like I don't know, maybe we don't want taxpayers to subsidize that.
Right. Well, first of all, Trump's not going to condemn them because he doesn't want to rattle his base. But,
maybe.
The other hand, it's like there are time and a place where that, like, that statue, in Nashville was considered appropriate. And clearly, this is what I was getting at. It's no longer appropriate. As far as the way the statue looks, you reminded me of a thing I saw on YouTube. If you ever get a chance, check it out. It's David Beckham getting a statue, and they played a prank on him. Oh my God, the statue's hideous. But
so I'll, to give you an example of like how bad it is. Like that statue that used to be up of oh my goodness, what's her name in Jamestown? The woman who played Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball. That thing was horrific.
Yeah, that it is worse than that.
Wow.
It is so bad. It is. It's very funny. Oh, it's been vandalized now.
Oh, surprise.
Oh well, it looks like it was anyway. But it's goodness, just that gives you nightmares for a number of reasons. But again, I look at these situations and I think like, oh, well maybe again we don't need to subsidize that. Maybe we don't need these statues up. We don't need to pay city government to clean that stuff. We can still learn history without having monuments to terrible people. And I get why some people are like, man, why do we have this statue of this Klan member in my city? Why do we have this school named after a Klan? Couldn't we pick someone else to name this building or school or park after?
My suggestion is this, okay? If you got a statue like of that guy in Nashville, sell it. eBay it.
Sell it. Get rid of it.
Get rid of it, sell it, take that money, and roll it into a new statue of something different, something more modern.
Yeah. So, and actually, let me make the debate a bit harder and more nuanced, right? Like, founder of the Klan, pretty easy. Get rid of that. Nonsense. We don't need that.
Right.
About someone like General Schuyler, right? So they're talking about pulling that statue down in Albany. Now, General Schuyler had a significant part in kind of the Revolutionary War in New York State, right? So there's a statue of him in the Albany area, and they're talking about pulling that down.
If you're going to take down an old statue like that, put it somewhere. Put it in a museum. Put it in City Hall. Put it somewhere, because like there's always kind of a little historical something or other for each town and city. And I'm sure they would love to have that statue,
Yeah, maybe.
And then you move on,
Yeah, and so General Schuyler, the reason why they want to pull it down is because although he was instrumental in kind of the war effort here and everything, and he was a senator from New York, he owned 13 slaves, right? So do we really want that a statue with that person here?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. That was what the thing. That's what I'm getting at. That's what was done at the time. I mean, heck, I'm old enough that I owned a pair of bell-bottom jeans, and it's like, what are you going to condemn me for wearing bell-bottom jeans nowadays? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's what you did at the day,
Right. So maybe we, again, maybe in this situation, maybe an educational plaque is more appropriate than pulling it down, or maybe the city pulls it down altogether. I don't know. There was a tweet, so now I'm going to go like the opposite direction with this, with a more controversial take on a statue I should pull down, or we should pull down, not me specifically, who's it? Charlie Kirk, who's from Turning Point USA, said, well, what's next? Are we going to pull down statues of FDR now because he interned Japanese Americans?
Right.
I read that tweet and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Let's pull it down. That guy was terrible. Like, let's get rid of it. Like, any monuments to FDR, like
socialist,
man. No, I mean that the dude, like, literally, like, fascism is putting an ethnic group in internment camps or concentration camps. That's what he did. Yeah, man, we shouldn't have monuments to that guy. I get so sick whenever I hear Democrats talk about how he's their favorite president. I'm like, man, do you know what that guy did? Like, it's disgusting. Like, man, bold of you to pick a president who interned Japanese Americans. The closest we ever got to fascism. Yeah, let's get rid of monuments to FDR. There's my edgy position for the day. Get rid of FDR monuments. Like, if we're going to get rid of monuments to terrible people and terrible leaders and politicians in the past, let's get rid of his too.
Yeah. I like what Garrett has said here, that our ancestors were just as flawed and fallen as we are. There were many Union generals who literally made a living killing Native Americans. That's
They sure were. Yeah, no, there's some awful ones. And I think it's important to, like, kind of have complicated, nuanced discussions of these, because, like, the answer isn't always like, all right, if they've never done a bad thing in their life, like, let's pull down their statue. It's like, again, if we have a statue that is maintained by taxpayer money, that is taken from you, maybe without your consent, like, you don't want to do that, maybe that's not what we need up, and maybe, like, we shouldn't have many monuments to that type of stuff. Like, I don't have an issue with, like, Frederick Douglass statues in Rochester, right? Frederick Douglass, was an instrumental leader in the abolition movement, in the 19th century and a hero of Rochester and did a lot of great stuff. I don't really have a huge issue with that. I think there's a pretty good consensus that like Frederick Douglass statues, great, that's fine.
But let me ask you this: do we need 12 of them or whatever we got in town?
We got a bunch, and some of them are maintained privately too.
Oh,
it's not.
that's
it's
even
not
better.
by city.
Okay, that's fine.
So, and again, in that situation, like the private statues, great. If it's a private statue, that's your business. Whatever. If you're spending $10,000-$20,000 a year to maintain, statues in your city, and it's a statue of that your city no longer wants to honor, maybe hold a vote on it or whatever. Like again, get rid of that stuff, or Confederate generals, that type of stuff. Like again, why are we still honoring traitors generals? I think we still know about that stuff, even if there's not a statue in town, or like you have like historic battlefields. They give information about that stuff. That's fine. All right, and I think we're about up on a break right now, and when we come back, we're gonna start talking about some Fake News Friday stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
Fake News Friday again. All right, thank you again for listening to Radio Free New York. We're gonna be back in just a few.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
Fiorella, a family-owned farm-to-table Italian restaurant at the Rochester Public Market, is open for curbside contactless takeout Wednesday through Saturday. Lunch 11:30 to 2 and dinner 4 to 8. Fiorella offers wood-fired, old-world-style pizza with naturally leavened dough and house-made fresh pasta. Check out our Facebook and Instagram at Restaurant Fiorella for nightly specials. Thursday is gnocchi night. Call 434-5705. View the takeout menu on the web, restaurantfiorella.com.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
Welcome back to Radio Free New York. It's Fake News Friday. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today, joined by Sean Phelan, our agent at Chaos. And we didn't do Fake News Friday last week, so we got fake news built up. We won't even get to all the fake. There's just so much fake news out there.
We do.
All right.
I do want to say one thing before we continue, based on the last thing. In no way, shape, or form am I comparing and equating bell bottoms with slavery. But just to say it today they're both
clarification?
wrong. Today they're
Yes.
both wrong.
Oh my God! All right, so you took it a step further, Sean. Of course you did.
Of course.
But,
Chaos.
All right. So anyway, fake news Friday. I want to start off with some fake news that around the thing I talked about yesterday, right? So we spent part of yesterday's show about me and Bob Savage. We talked about Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, the little anarchy zone in Seattle, Washington. They've cordoned off 6 blocks to build their autonomous zone that is free of police. So there were a lot of rumors going around about all that stuff. So apparently they aren't really checking people at the borders. I've seen some more firsthand accounts. They're not like checking people who are going in. Despite what you hear from CNN, there are in fact people with long guns walking around there. Some of whom are like kind of like the Boogaloo Boy type of people wearing like Hawaiian shirts and whatnot, and some of whom are like kind of more left anarchist types. So they're there.
Wait. What's with the Hawaiian shirt comment? I got some of those.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like that's what like some of the Boogaloo Boys, the people who call that, or I guess there's probably women in that too, but they wear Hawaiian shirts. That's their thing.
Oh, so
we're not
already own the uniform? Sweet.
Yeah, so we don't need to get into that, all that type of stuff, because that's a whole thing. But point is, there are that. So fake news saying that there aren't people with long guns there, because there totally are. There are a handful of people doing that, providing some type of security. They are not checking people at the entrances, apparently, according to several firsthand accounts I have read, and they are not asking businesses to contribute. It's basically like a big open-air street festival at this point, because the cops have just said, all right, we're just going to kind of let you do your thing and then hope that de-escalates the situation that's kind of gotten out of hand, and they're figuring it's going to fizzle out. So I think that's kind of where they're at this point. Mm-hmm. So that's what it is. That's the latest on that. Again, I find it fascinating. I am watching what happens there, but my guess, as I said on yesterday's show, is probably going to fizzle out. But they aren't extorting businesses, so they aren't like asking businesses to pay protection money or other type of stuff to be able to operate there. The only entity saying that you have to pay them money in order to be able to operate in that zone is, in fact, the Seattle government and the Washington State government. So the only ones doing extortion here are not, in fact, the people of Chaz. just to clarify that. So if that's how we define extortion, they're not the ones doing it. All right, so that's my main points of fake news on that. Right. Is it's probably not as scary as it sounds, but it's probably just a kind of a hippie commune that will probably fizzle out in a few weeks after it gets distracted from the point.
Oh, Occupy Wall Street lasted for a long time.
That's true. We'll see.
And they have better weather over there, so.
Yeah, just rainy.
Yeah.
John, you got some fake news for us?
Always. Florida man.
Yeah.
Florida man convinced he is dying from COVID digs his own grave on his family land. Turns out he only has allergies.
Fake news. That's fake.
That is fake news.
All right. Yeah, I got one right. Good.
But it's tough to call when it's a Florida man,
Florida man.
He might have his like little family cemetery, on the land, and digs his own graves. It turns out he only has allergies.
Fair enough. All right. So, potentially fake news item. Did the last Civil War pensioner die last week? The last person to still be receiving a military pension from the Civil War.
I thought the last person died in 1968, but apparently, I'm going to say fake. I'm going to say fake news because the date's off.
Yeah, no, it is real news. Wow. Irene Triplett, who is still receiving a pension from the U.S. Civil War, because children of the Civil War would receive benefits, and a guy named Mose Triplett was fighting for the Confederacy, defected to the North in 1863, and then had a daughter very, very late in life, and so she was getting a pension, financial support for the Civil War.
I
Wild.
I do know that like some of these like really, really, really old dudes that had been around for the Civil War and were getting a pension. I know that they were marrying like really, really young girls for the pension money. And I guess if back in the 1910s, 1920s or whatever, and you impregnated her, then she would have been old enough, and then it'd be a kid, So I guess you're right. The math does work out, but for some reason I thought that was 1968. For some reason, but, anyway.
No. So Irene died at the age of 90, and again, this guy Mr. Triplett, he had married a woman 50 years his junior, had a child.
Yeah, 1930. Yeah, she was born 1930.
And
so
that's it. So that apparently Irene was the last one, lived to the age of 90, but crazy.
Wow, 1930 pre-Viagra. Wow, good job, Di. Good job,
goodness.
dude.
Oh, you took it there. Sean, next fake news item. What you got? You got anything for me?
Did a Salt Lake City man try to shoot protesters in the street with a bow and arrow?
Yeah. No, was it Salt Lake City? Someone did.
Salt Lake City, yeah. Crazy. I saw the footage.
That is real news.
What were you thinking, bruh?
Yeah, and then I think they flipped his car and set it on fire, which.
Oh yeah, they gave him a serious beat down too.
I mean, like I don't condone violence in any way, but also like if you're shooting arrows at people, like
you're only getting one shot,
Yeah. No, I don't feel bad for that guy. Is my point. If you're shooting arrows at protesters, you are a real piece of crap.
I'm not sure he even got one off, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure
somebody,
either.
from the footage I saw, I think somebody managed to tackle him before he was able to, No, Garrett, the arrows were not on fire.
Yeah. Good question. Now.
Was it Ted Nugent? No, it was not Ted Nugent.
No, another potential fake news item.
Yes.
Sean, in Rochester, we didn't get to this last week, unfortunately, but in Rochester, did someone let the lions out of the zoo?
Yes, that's real news. Yes, they were roaming all over Irondequoit. I heard they ate a couple of babies, and
You're saying that's real news?
That's real news.
No, Sean, that is fake news. Come on. Come on. You knew that.
I knew it because I saw the tweet.
That.
I actually saw the tweet, posted it on Facebook. When I saw it, I was like, please tell me this isn't true. The poor animals, they're going to end up, the cops are just going to shoot them, and then quickly the zoo put out a tweet, which was very cool. And they were like, nope, animals are safe. They're in their cages. No worries.
Yeah. So we might have talked about it. Andrew might have talked about it on the show before, too. It's like someone called it in either as a joke or to distract police officers. Someone called in, said the animals had been let out of the zoo. It was reported by a Twitter account called Monroe County Firewire, which is very useful for a lot of stuff, but it's all like calls in. So it doesn't, just because someone called something in doesn't mean it's true. So that's when you see that Twitter account, just know like that's just a call. It's not necessarily what is actually happening. And there's another like kind of Rochester first responder account around that too. But nope, that is fake news. The animals did not get out of the zoo. That didn't happen. But for like an hour there, everyone's like, oh my goodness, are there lions running around the city?
I used to live up that way, and I'd work, I was bouncing, and I was working the nightclubs, and I'd be coming home real late, and it'd be so quiet, and I could hear the animals at the zoo. I was like, whoa, what is that? It sounds like a tiger.
Well, that's it for Fake News Friday and for the show for the day. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening here on Radio Free New York. Andrew will be back on Monday with more Radio Free New York. We will talk to you then.